Who were you before you lost your wild self?
That's what we're helping you explore on the Tend Her Wild podcast.
Through questions and tools around how best to listen to your inner voice,
rewild ourselves, and live the most authentic life where we thrive instead of survive.
I'm Betsy.
And I'm Kate.
And we're so glad you've joined us for this episode. Hello, Tend Her Wild podcast listeners. We are here with such a dear woman that we've been talking about getting on this podcast for literally months. And so we're really glad that it's finally working out today. Erica Miller is here with us today. And have had the great pleasure of working with her and receiving healing from her in the last, I think, 6 to 7 years. And she is amazing. So I want to tell you about her and what we're going to get into today. She's the loving owner, operator of In-Spirit Healing Arts and Yoga, and the co-founder of Anahata Wellness Co-op in Coralville. Erica is a holistic healer, shamanic practitioner, Reiki master teacher, licensed massage therapist, meditation guide, intuitive, channeler, yoga teacher, and author. Yes.
Wow.
Now we got one more little piece.
Exactly.
So Erica, you can tell she's multi-talented and she really has so many skill sets. She just completed her 2-year shamanic practitioner training with Two Birds Cunningham of Embracing Shamanism in Inverness, Scotland. She did this last March. Her beautiful clan is called the Wild Earth Dreamers. Shout out to the Wild Earth Dreamers. Yay. We hope you're listening. And she's so happy to have an international family who loves stepping into non-ordinary reality as much as she does. I love that too, Erica.
Oh, yeah.
She is also in the process of completing her shaman teacher training with Two Birds, this time in Wales. So for all of you interested in this, be on the lookout for an 18-month shamanic practitioner training that is going to start with Erica January 2027. Welcome, Erica.
So exciting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have you.
Well, I'm actually really interested in this first question because I know you, but not super well. So we always like to ask about your first 10 years. There's often through lines or experiences that may have happened that helped shape your future, and your gifts are kind of there sometimes early. So what did that first 10 years look like for you?
So I actually feel like I've always been a spiritual seeker. That's one of the things that I always tell folks. And I remember really early on, even I would have these moments where I would be playing by myself and things would get really quiet. And, but then I would hear like all these voices in my head. I always say, I'm glad they weren't medicating as often back then because, but I would tell my mom about it. What would happen? I would hear all these voices. Then I would kind of come back to the room and it was like everything was really slow for a minute. And then like reality would kind of zip back up for me. And that was really early on. And so that would happen. I had things, unfortunately, like night terrors, but it would be like dreams happening in my room. But I would see like I don't know if you know about night terrors, but traditionally there's
My son has had them.
Yeah.
I'm putting some links together right now in this moment. Yeah.
So, and then just, some paranormal experiences when I was young, but family wise, I grew up with just my mom primarily. I had a dad that I was adopted by, but I didn't know that until I was actually 19. So I would spend some time with him, but there was always more of a connection between he and my brother than him and myself, which I had addressed a couple of times. And there were some answers now looking back where it was like, oh, makes
All
a little
comes
more
together
makes
now.
a little bit more sense. So I think there is this feeling of like kind of being the black sheep of the family a little bit, but not necessarily with my mom, but maybe on the other side. But again, kind of explainable. But I think that's something that often happens with people who are spiritual seekers or who come to maybe do healing for others, right? You have that kind of outsider view so that you can help others move through that as well.
Yeah.
So, but my grandmother, Miller, who was my adopted grandmother, she was like, and I don't use this phrase lightly, she was just a saint of a woman. And really early on, I remember having spiritual conversations with her, and she would always really pause and reflect. And even though, her lineage was Christianity, and she would be up reading the Bible at 4 a.m. But she would just be really thoughtful, about her answers. And one thing that stood out, I remember I asked her one time, well, Grandma, and this is when I'm like 4, mind you, So
Yeah.
I'm like, Grandma, do you really think all the Buddhists and the Muslims in the world are going to burn in hell forever
Oh
because
my
they
God,
don't
I asked
have
the
this?
same question. I
Really?
asked the same question.
Oh,
It didn't make sense to me.
yeah, it didn't make any
No.
sense. So
Yeah.
she paused and she thought, and she just looked at me and she said, Erica, only God knows your heart. So to have that kind of, I think, insight at such an early age, like I feel like that was the reason that I was in that family. And then I had a really great uncle who was an artist, so it was cool. So there's definitely reasons
Yeah.
I think that I had that experience. But I grew up in a small town, so I was ready to get out.
Yeah.
The day that I was born there, and I did leave the day after graduation. I was like, I'm going to the city. But I was always just kind of like the weirdo. I started. This is beyond my 10 years, but when I was like 14, I started studying Buddhism really heavily, and I was like a vegetarian Buddhist in a little town in Iowa in like 1990. You know what I mean?
Wow, you were before your time.
Yeah. So yeah,
We
I
would have been
just
friends, Erica.
totally.
I mean, we're friends now, but
Totally. Yeah. So but I always had, an interest in things like I was doing yoga in my living room with a VHS tape, like the same one over and over and over again.
Rodney Yee.
No, it wasn't Rodney.
That was who I was doing it
And
to.
it was like pre-Rodney Yee was Rainbow Mars, but then before that is this VHS tape, and I can never for the life of me remember who the teacher was, but someday maybe I'll cross paths with it again. But I did when I was little, I did things like I just spent a lot of time in the woods with my cousins and making time capsules, and I did weird things like I'd have my mom blindfold me and I'd have dowsing rods and look for items in my backyard. I mean, I was always just doing something
love
like a
that
little bit
so
quirky.
much.
So yeah, I mean, I was always just like a little bit outside, but I never really felt that way though, right? Like I was always really loved and felt at
Accepted.
home, accepted by all of that. So, my mom, whenever I would tell my mom these stories, she'd just be like really curious.
That's lovely.
Which was lovely. She didn't always, I think, looking back on it, had I had maybe somebody that understood what was happening with me, that development may have started a little bit earlier as far as like some sort of formal training in it. But I don't even know that at the time, culturally, it was really known very much, right? So I think now maybe there would be more access to maybe discovering that at a little earlier age. But
did you go through a period? It seems like so many intuitives and highly sensitive people, these gifts are there when you're a child. And then you go through a period of time, whether it's those teens or those early 20s, where you kind of have to shut it down to belong or to get through the world. And then it comes back. Or did yours stay sort of open the whole time?
I was kind of a weirdo the whole time.
It stayed open the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I really was, I remember I was like teaching my friends to meditate. I mean, I pulled out it was like my first semester at Iowa. I have a degree in finance, by the way. It was like,
Oh, you are kidding.
That's a whole other ball of wax. However, like my first semester, I remember I bought a deck of tarot cards and I never read tarot to anyone before, and I brought them to a party. So I was like, it's a good party trick. So I pulled them out, and these two gals are sitting in front of me, and this gal was like, okay, do a reading for me. And, I don't know what I'm doing. So I like pulled 3 cards, and I'm like, and I don't know, it just came to me. I was like, do you think that you're pregnant? And her friend like slaps her arm and she's like, yes. Oh my God. So
oh my God,
it was
buddy.
just like one of those things, where I have always just kind of picked up a lot of these tools. And then it's just has always come naturally.
Natural.
Yeah.
You had sounds like a really strong feminine influence too, with your grandmother and your mom.
Yeah.
That you hung on to your feminine in a way that's, we've talked a lot on this podcast about masculine kind of taking over, but it sounds like you embraced your feminine.
She was in finance.
I know that. I do have questions about that. I do need to understand that.
It has served its purpose.
Yeah.
Well,
you're an
a little bit
entrepreneur.
of balance. Yeah.
I mean, I've always been interested, like in school, like I loved math and I loved science, but then I was in drama and, band. Like I've always just had like anything I can just feed myself with, I just am like ravenous for learning. So I'm just a forever student. I think that it should be probably the first thing on my resume, honestly.
Well, we heard
Life
that,
student.
yoga, meditation, Reiki, body work, healing, intuition.
There's layers
Yeah.
that you've learned.
Yeah. Yeah. And always growing. I mean, there's always more work to be done, right? Always more things to learn, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
So the latest is shamanism, and we're really curious to. We've talked about so many different modalities on this podcast, but never really tapped into shamanism. And I think there's often a misunderstanding of what it is. So we'd love for you to introduce our guest, introduce our listeners. You're our guest, to what it is and how you work with it.
So shamanism is one of the oldest healing modalities on the planet. There's actually historical traditions on all 6 continents, so minus Antarctica, and maybe there are some buried pieces there too, who knows. So it's really very cross-cultural. So you see it in Aboriginal, Druidism, the Evanki people of Siberia, of course, the indigenous people of the Americas. So it really spans all continents. So for me, that was one of the important things as far as, just being like culturally appropriate. And I want to just, no matter what it is that I'm doing, I really want to honor the tradition of it. And not only like, not just, I really want to step into it and live it in a way, that is true to what I'm studying. So there was a bit of a journey of me finding my teacher. So I really had been looking for a while to study shamanism. And I was actually at a silent retreat in the space where you've been in Idaho.
It's a powerful place.
A powerful place.
Yeah.
So I was on this silent retreat, and it's kind of an interesting story how this all unfolds. But so I'm there, and the first few days you're feeling a little out of sorts because you can't speak to anyone, and all the thoughts get really loud. So I was out on a walk. There's like a boardwalk from the main area, out to the Salmon River. And so I'm walking on this boardwalk, and I was just feeling, I was just like feeling frumpy. I was feeling out of sorts. I was hot. And that walk, for whatever reason, stood out in my head. And then went through the process. I was there for a few days. Amazing things happened during that time. And then I had done a yoga nidra practice one night. And in the practice, one thing that was really constant during that retreat is I kept hearing like om, 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 to the point where I was like, are they pumping this in? It's like, this is just not possible. I was like, where are the hidden speakers, right? But so that sound became really loud, right? The sound of om in this nidra practice. And, they say that if you're thinking in nidra, that you're not actually in it. So I knew that there was a level of consciousness there that was happening, but I was told to follow the sound in. So I followed the sound in, and I saw this woman who was with her back to me, and her hair was really long and brown, kind of wavy. She had this white dress on with like some beadwork on it, some embroidery. I never saw her face, but she was singing in a language that I didn't know. And she just was so bright. It gives me the chills just right now talking about it. But I felt her light enter into me, and it was like the brightest that I ever felt.
Wow.
And so I came out of that practice, and then, we had some time where you could ask a question. So I asked the question of the teacher. I said, hey, so this is in the Hatha Tantra tradition, is there a female shaman within this lineage that that I could study with? I just had this experience, da, da, da. And he says, well, I don't know of anyone, but, perhaps my teacher does. But he said, the thing that I would tell you to do is to go to sleep tonight and pray about it, because usually these kinds of teachers just appear to you. So I'm like, thanks for the answer.
The non-answer answer.
Not really.
Put it back on me.
However, so I did just that, went to sleep that night. I did pray about it. And then the next morning we had our closing circle. We're packing up, and myself and my friend Renee had rolled in kind of quick. We were there. We didn't really have a chance to get to know anyone, but the gal that was bunking beneath me, Misty, I had known her from some other events. But throughout the week, I had been reading these books on Celtic shamanism because I was leading a retreat in Ireland. And then I'd just been doing, so anyway, I just like had my little stack of Celtic wisdom stuff. And I should throw this in before I was after before the last day, the day before, I was walking that same walk, and it was the wildest thing. So totally sunny day, and there's like this one tiny little rain cloud, and it was literally just raining on me. And I'm like a wild woman out in this field, just like laughing. I'm like, oh my God, this is hysterical. Like I actually sound hysterical right now, but I could literally see on the boardwalk where there was just this rain cloud falling.
Wow.
So at that time, these two birds came in and landed in front of me, right? And I'm like, oh, why are these birds here? You know, you really get introspective after 5
When
days.
you're not talking to anyone. I've been on this retreat. I agree.
So I'm like very intently watching these birds, right? But anyway, they flew away. I'm walking on. I'm still just kind of laughing. Well, the two birds flew back in. And I thought, I don't know. Is this like relationships, love? I thought, I don't know. I'll find out later, you know? So anyway, they left. So again, fast forward to this last day, and I'm out in the parking lot and I'm packing up because we're kind of like leaving soon. And this gal, Misty, comes up to me and she says, hey, I've been wanting to ask you all week long. I saw that you were reading some books on Celtic spirituality. And the name of your book, Anam Cara, which is by John O'Donohue, is the name of the retreat center that I've been staying at, where I've been studying shamanism with my teacher, Two Birds.
Of course.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Wow.
I mean,
and she was your roommate? She bunked underneath you?
me. So there are like 4 of us in the room together.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
What? So I know my jaw just like dropped in the dirt. So at this time, my poor son had broken his jaw while I was there. So again, not irony and not lost on me. So he's back at home getting his jaw wired shut. I'm at a silent retreat. So I get home. I know it's wild, right? So I get home, and of course, immediately I'm just wanting to take care of him. So like, I feel like I just like poured all this energy healing into him. It was like, it was kind of amazing because he had this, I mean, his jaw was so swollen. I thought, oh my gosh, do we need to go to the hospital? And I just like laid with him, and we did Nidra all night. And then by the morning, I mean, you couldn't even tell that he had a surgery. It was pretty phenomenal. Like even I was like, whoa, that's impressive. So anyway, a few days go by and I'm just taking care of him and, you know, blending food and whatnot. And so I told my husband then about, you know, this experience that I had with this shaman woman. And I said, I need to like check it out. So I go to look online, and the day that her next training started, like for this 18-month practitioner training, was the day after my retreat in Ireland ended. So of course I'm like, okay, another like hello moment. So I reach out and I ask, are there any spots left in your upcoming training? Of course, how many?
One. Yeah. There's one spot left.
One spot. Chills again. I mean, so I told my husband, I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm just going to be traveling to Scotland.
I gotta go.
There's like no way that I cannot do this.
All the signs were there.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it was pretty phenomenal. So I've just like that in and of itself has made me feel, I think, an extra layer of dedication to the practice and purpose in it. So that was really like my entryway into it. And of course, then when I met Two Birds, I mean, it was the woman in Nidra, like this long
was it
brown
really?
hair. I mean,
now I have chills.
It was so her. I mean, it was uncanny. It was just phenomenal, you know? And I really feel like the experiences that I've had there have led me to that light. You know, maybe I'm not at that like full light right now, but the experiences that I've had and just that self-healing that happens with any kind of practice that you study where the healing arts are involved, you know, it should be, I always tell my students, like all about healing self first, right? Like physician heal thyself. I mean, that's where it's at, you know? So through this process, I feel like I've deepened my own healing so much. And then for me, also one of the biggest things about that I've connected with the most in shamanism is this connection to nature. So in shamanic tradition, it's really based on animism. So animism is this idea that everything has a soul, everything's alive. So the rocks, the trees, you know, the bird, this table, this seat, you know, all the things. And so that has the practices in connecting with things in that way has definitely connected me deeper to nature and to my own self. And it's interesting because actually one of the things so I just led a silent retreat with Natalie Brown up at Hakioji in Minnesota not too long ago. And one of the things that came through for me there was this distinction between self and nature. I've always kind of said like activating the higher self. And then when I was there, a few things happened where eventually what it kind of came around to was like more tuning into your own true nature. And I just feel like that's so much more, there's less identification with it, you know, than with the self, like moving more into nature. And so that to me is like part of what this piece of shamanism is too, right? It is about the self, but really it's about community and it's about connection to the planet. And so that I just feel has, again, just like deepened my purpose all the more.
Thank you. That is so beautiful. I've never heard the full story and I have so many questions, but we're not going to go down that road. What I want to ask you about is, I think a lot of people and our listeners will know what massage is and what Reiki is. And, what are these tools of healing? We talk on this podcast all the time about the key thing is healing ourselves first. If we're going to make any difference in the world, we have to go in and do our inner work. So what are the tools that are specific to shamanism that you use as a practitioner, or that if someone would go work with a shamanic healer, what are these tools and maybe how they're different than energy work or yoga?
Sure. So I think every shaman is different with what they're going to bring forward or what their gifts are, what they connect to. For me personally, the way that I use it is a little bit different in kind of the arena that I'm in at any given point in time. So I always say like my bread and butter is like my 9 to 5 or whatever is healing sessions, right? So when people come in to see me, I'm doing body work. We're going through really a journey. So I've been doing this before I had like language around it, right? I was already taking people through this guided visualization that was happening within me. But then later on, I was like, oh, well, that's just what I do. That's just what I'm already doing, right? But I just have a name for it now.
Right.
So that piece was already there for me. I think the thing that I have really leaned into now in my work within those sessions, and I should say that what I'm looking for in those sessions are like excesses or deficiencies of energy. And that can be in the physical body, the emotional body, mental body. And I always say there's really no excess or deficiency in our spiritual body, right? But it's like, how can our spiritual blueprint most resonate in those other layers? And what do we need to do to clear that space in order for those things to jive and, live your most prosperous, healthy, joyful life? And so that's what I'm really looking to do is like finding those places of stickiness or overactivity. And so shamanism frames it slightly differently. And I think there's like crossover too then with like tantra, where you're kind of like burning away things that you want to get rid of and bringing in other things is very similar in shamanism, but there's just a little bit different language around it. So they really see it as like a soul retrieval and an extraction. So the extraction is kind of what it sounds like, right? So you will take a misplaced energy within yourself, take it out. Then we don't want to just leave that hole open for some other misplaced energy to make its way back in, right? So then we would do something called a soul retrieval, which is basically, if you think about it in like Western psychology terms, it would be almost like a traumatic break, right? So this part of ourself that might go away for a while until it's safe for it to come back. So we create a space where it's safe for that piece to come back. And then through a journey, we retrieve that from non-ordinary reality. I'm getting into some other terms we'll have to get into. We retrieve that from non-ordinary reality and bring that back to the here and now to heal in the physical or in ordinary reality, as it would be called. So that's one piece of it as far as just an overarching view of what that balance looks like or what that healing process looks like. And then for me, myself, one thing that I think has been so helpful is when I teach energy healing, which I've done for, quite some time now, I always import to my students, it's like the energy's moving through you and not from you. So any healing that you are doing, you're receiving it, right? So you shouldn't be tired at the end of the day. You should be energized. You should, so these things that you're helping these folks move through, you shouldn't have to move through them yourself because you've been there. And anyway, but it's like with shamanism, there's this emphasis on merging with your spirit allies. So these spirit allies can come from 3 different realms. So there's a lower realm, a middle realm, and then an upper realm, or you can call them worlds as well. And so the lower realm is more like animals, ancestors, middle, earth, upper is kind of like ascended masters, gods, goddesses, angels, whatever your teacher, your guru, whatever that is for you, right, is kind of in that space. Although I would say there's also kind of crossover amongst the worlds, and they're not always so defined.
Distinct.
We're not. Yeah, not always so distinct. And so, so you gather kind of your group of allies, and depending on what's going on in a session, you might lean into one energy more than another. And instead of just saying like, "Oh, I want this energy to move through me," you really ask for it to merge with you. So you're stepping out of the way, right? You get as much of the ego, as much of your own identity out of the way, and allow that energy in to do the work for you, So that, it's like, gives me the chills. I'm so nerdy about it, but it is really powerful. And
I've been in your sessions, and to hear you explain it now, I'm like, yeah, I get now what is going on.
And I have one scheduled in a few weeks, so I'm very excited now.
Yeah,
understanding this.
And I feel like many people who've worked with you actually hearing this interview and hearing you kind of, because we come in and we're like, okay, Erica, let's get to work. But to have this explained, I think actually only makes it all the more powerful, at least in my mind, in my heart.
Yeah, it's nice to know kind of where it's coming from, and it really would probably deepen your connection with the work as well, right?
Can I ask, so studying in Scotland, in another culture, what was that like, and how did that experience, like, you obviously that's where you were meant to go.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was that you landed there? And what was that culture's, how do they embrace this type of shamanism in a way that maybe Western culture does not?
Well, I think it's much more integrated just into the culture overall, right? I mean, music is used for healing, right? This idea of the other world, of thresholds, right, is not abnormal. Connecting with nature, right? Nature spirits. I mean, all of that is so much more in Celtic culture, than it is here. It's just something that we've let go of, but hopefully that we're bringing back. I mean, that's my hope, is that we do become more connected in that way. And I mean, I do have Scottish ancestry, and so it's like one of those places that I always wanted to go and visit, and I just always felt like called to the magic of Scotland. I don't know, like misty, foggy, magical otherworld. I have a tattoo of fairy on my back.
Fairies, fairies are big
there. They believe
all
in
of that.
fairies,
Like I love that energy, So we actually in our clan had students from all over the world. So from Italy, from Wales, England, Scotland, a few more from the States, so it was very multicultural as far as my group was concerned. And then even my teacher, she actually also has this very global perspective because she was born in the States, grew up in Germany, but then studied shamanism in Africa. She actually lived there for 10 years. And then Toltec shamanism, which is more in like in South America, so indigenous South America. And then of course has like the Celtic piece woven in as well. So she has a very global perspective. So I feel really fortunate in that I feel like this taste of a lot of different lineages, which really speaks to my heart. Cause I just love it all. Like give it all to me.
Yeah. So, I watch your travels from afar and I see that now in you of just, learning and soaking in everything from the cultures you visit.
And I just feel like we just can learn so much from each other. And so it's been a nice way for me to learn and very like true to me.
Yeah, it feels very true to you. I'm curious about your perspective on this particular point in history and the energies that are kind of evolving, and why perhaps shamanism or this influx of trying to balance our energies and extract and bring in and connect with our guides and all of that, why maybe it's so imperative right now. Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that so one of the things that we're actually studying in my shaman teacher training is chaos cycles. But overall, like if you connect that back more to a yogic philosophy of the yugas, I do believe that we are on this, uptick from the dark ages, essentially, and we're moving into a more enlightened state. And there's just a lot of chaos that happens anytime you move from, one field of energy into the next. There's a lot of like nails
Hanging on.
digging in, right? We got to dig in. And I mean, you see that generationally, but then I think we're seeing that in a larger field right now. And so I think that this call back to nature, like really listening to the wisdom that is already here for us, is imperative if we're to save ourselves and the planet, quite honestly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's enough.
No, I
for you,
completely agree that
yeah.
nature's asking us for help. And it seems like shamanism is really deep listening to nature and then allowing nature to kind of co-create with us in terms of solutions.
And by embracing nature, I feel like because your work helps people connect to nature, I feel like then we want to protect the things that become part of us, right? And so
much so.
That to me seems like the obvious path.
Yeah, it really is. And again, because I think it is this cross-cultural perspective, right? It's from all over the world.
Yeah.
And that's another piece of it, I think, that just
oneness
with the planet and oneness with each other.
Do you find people too, you've been doing this healing type work for a very long time. Do you think people are becoming more and more open to it and more open to new paths and new ways of perceiving things?
Yeah, I do. I've been really fortunate because I feel like I've always drawn people to me who were open.
Yeah.
Because I've never felt it was like strange or out of the ordinary. To me, this is like the juiciest
how you live.
Stuff we could do, so come on, let's go. So I feel like I've just been blessed with having people who have gravitated towards me that have always been open. But I do think that culturally, we are much more open to this sort of work right now. And it's really exciting, right? And so I think that this is why I'm gravitating now more towards teaching, because there is such a huge interest now. I feel like it's really important for me at this point in time to start teaching because there's only so many hours in the day, right? To see so many people. And so I want to teach others to share this gift too. And so that's kind of where my personal shift has come from right now as well.
Well, I want to comment that I was able kind of from afar again to see my mother-in-law, who has since passed away, work with you. And as someone who was in a different generation, I know what an impact you made without her maybe even really understanding all of it. She was so drawn to coming to you. She got so much out of that. I would drop her off. I know it's when I would see you and then I'd pick her up and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So I just want to comment that even if you're not sure, what you're getting, there's so much to be.
Spirit shows up in the way that it's supposed to show up for you. How it shows up for Betsy isn't not going to be how it shows up for you, isn't going to be how it shows up for me, and so somebody who is from a different generation or perhaps, like religious perspectives, that doesn't matter.
Right.
It's whatever, if you're really listening and really tuning in, whatever is supposed to come through for that person is what comes through. And I always want to, honor that for others as well. So, and also, it's a balance too, because I don't want to inhibit myself based on what I think somebody is expecting, or what I think is going to be okay for them, so I really try to step out of that space as well, because I think that if we limit, our expectations around them, then they're going to have limited work as well.
Yeah. Well, we are going to go on a little shamanic journey together. Erica was really gracious, and when I talked to her, she's like, "Can I bring my drums and can I take you on a journey?" And I was like, "Yes,
please."
And so, for all of you listeners, this is such an opportunity to get a little taste of this pathway in that Erica so artfully can guide us towards. And is there anything more you want to share about this?
I should
process?
Probably just tell you a little bit about the journey itself and what to expect, so that you don't go in completely blind. So we'll be starting today from a point called your axis mundi, which is essentially like the starting point, the convergence point, which is different for a lot of cultures. But for you personally today, it's going to be like a place in nature where you feel really open, free. You might think you're a beach girl, but when you get to the journey, you're in the forest or in the mountains or whatnot, so don't try to have that like rigid
pre-planned.
Exactly. So we'll be stepping into non-ordinary reality. I kind of hinted towards that earlier. And the most important thing I think to remember with non-ordinary reality is that there are no rules, right? Like throw physics out the window. If you're flying, if you walk through a wall, if there's a dog talking to you, like, yes,
I love that.
that's what you want. You want to like be in a space where you're moving beyond your limitations. So when I take you on this journey today, we're actually going to take you on a journey. It's going to be a journey to the other realm, and you're going to kind of just go off where you are. Usually I would say like lower, middle, upper, but I want you just to kind of be free to where you're going to go, take you through this process. But we're going to take you on a journey to your wild self. So you're going to meet your wild self. I thought that would be appropriate today. And then through that, bring yourself back a message, a gift that you can apply then to your waking world.
Yes.
Exciting.
So excited.
It sounds
Chanel,
amazing.
are you up for this too? Okay.
Yeah. So at home, I would recommend, maybe just laying like a light cloth over your eyes to make yourself really comfortable. Maybe put something underneath your knees. It's just going to be about 10 minutes. So a position where you can be comfy for that amount of time.
Great.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So at home, as you're lying down, allow yourself to be comfortable, to feel supported by the earth. And we're going to start with something called hollowing out. So I'm going to use a rattle right now. And as you hear the sound of the rattle, I want you to envision or feel that this rattle is really clearing the energy around your body or within your body. So anywhere that energy might feel stuck. You might get down in your belly or in the mind. Take a nice breath in. Let the rattle just clear all around you. Settling. Today we're going on a journey to your wild self. So right now, 3 times in your heart, I want you to repeat, I journey to the other realm to meet my wild self. Journey to the other realm to meet my wild self. I journey to the other realm to meet my wild self. And I'll guide you there. Allow yourself to tune in to the beat of the drum. If your mind wanders, simply come back to the drum. There's no pressure here, no right or wrong. And if it feels like you're using your imagination, that's perfect. It's a doorway in. We begin at your axis mundi. Your axis mundi is a place in nature that appears to you right now on the screen of your mind or in the space of your heart. This may be a river, your backyard, under a favorite tree, a mountain. Wherever you are is perfect. If you're not seeing anything, what would you see if you could see something? Allow your imagination, your mind to create a story. It's fine. I want you to use all 5 senses as your journey. What do you see now out in front of you? Look to your left, to your right. Look all around. What can you hear? Is there a sound close to you, maybe even just the sound of your breath, or a distant sound calling you toward it? Is it day or night? What's the temperature? How does the air feel on your skin? a feeling or a memory. Again, take a look around. I want you to find a path laid out before you. It can be something simple or a slightly hidden path. As you walk this path, notice your surroundings. Notice how you feel. As you walk this path, you now come to a space where there's a threshold. Perhaps this threshold is a doorway or an arch, a hole in the ground, a stairway to the sky. Whatever appears before you is perfect. As you cross this threshold, you will be taken to a different space, a different dimension, another world. Where are you? Are there others here with you? You've come to this place to meet your wild self. A self who is free of limitation, who is unafraid, who is your brightest self. They may have already appeared before you, or you may feel them beside you. Ask them now to merge with you, to enter in. You may feel called to move. Feel their skin as your own. What does this wild self want to do? Where do they want to go? Go. Do. Be free. Now gently. The one again become two. You see the wild self standing before you. Look in their eyes. See the soul of the wild self. Does this self have a message for you? Can this message be given to you now as a physical gift? Allow the wild self to offer you now something that you can take back with you. breath to this room. I want to know about your wild self.
Well, I definitely met her.
Oh,
She
so
was
good.
there.
So good.
Me too.
Did they have any message that you can share? Do you feel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go first.
Yeah, I mean, crazy journey. Like, as you said, my Axis Mundi was nowhere I've ever been. It was the jungle. I've never gone to the jungle. And I could feel these like smooth stones on my feet. I was barefoot and I could hear all the jungle noises. And then then there's this golden arch that I went under. And then suddenly I was totally popped out of the jungle and I was on these hills and it was just sky above me, like massive sky.
Oh, I love it.
And then my wild woman was an eagle. And she just came and she looked me right in the eyes. And I think there was messages of like, fly free, be free. But then she gave me this like eagle headdress that she put on my head. I could feel like where the beak came on my forehead. And just, this message of like, just that connection to nature, but also that I am free, that the eagle fly, like doesn't have, like it can fly anywhere. And so just giving me that message.
I love that. And actually, we have talked about, I have a jaguar tapestry in my room, and you said that the jaguar is one of your animals.
Yeah.
And that is also one of my guides. But my actual spirit name that was given to me is Eagle Warrior. So I think we're vibing, sis.
Okay, well, no surprise there.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Eagle
amazing.
energy is amazing.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Glad you connected.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started off in a boat on the water alone. And it was a place I have been, but it's a place where the water meets the mountains. And I was floating alone and it was very calm, but lonely. And then when I went in, it was like I was in this dark tunnel. And I remember you saying, are there other people there? And I was like, I can't find anybody.
Wow. Yeah.
And then, but I could sense others, but I couldn't see them. And then when I came through that and met her, she was larger than life and beautiful. And like, she gave me a sprig, I guess it would be, of lavender.
Oh, I love that.
And was like, you can come here anytime. Like,
Yeah, it's emotional, isn't it? It's amazing. It's just like so deep and beautiful.
Yeah.
And now you can connect with her with lavender, which is so amazing.
I know. I don't even know where that came from.
Yeah.
It was very clear.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good. Nice work, lady.
Thank you.
And if
you
at
for
home you didn't
opening.
get that right away, just go back and do it again. Like sometimes what can block us from connecting with our journey is, you're tired, you're stressed, you just have like a lot on your mind, so come back, try it again. Sometimes it just feels like a lot of pressure to like, perform in the journey or whatever. And so just coming back to it and just experience it again. And I promise, over time, it will emerge if it didn't this time around. So I'm so glad you connected. Yeah.
So powerful. And then what is the next step for people who did this, or for Kate and I? Like, we got this image, we got this message. Is there like, what's the next step? How do we move this forward or integrate this?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's lots of ways that you can do that. But a lot of times, like, I'll have people collage something, just kind of images that might have come through with your wild self. You could get a drum and write like journey, like ask that wild self to merge with you, drum, and let her just kind of take you on a journey just by beating the drum. You can dance as her, right? So there's these like kind of, I would say, primal experiences that we can look to really help us to integrate. Go for a walk with her in the woods.
Yeah.
Invite her places. ask her to come forward before you are doing something that's nerve-wracking or something that feels limiting, right? Like call that wild self, like I'm coming through as her today, you know?
Yeah.
So really like the work I think is not just like in a separate practice also, but like how can I bring this into like all the moments of my life?
Yeah. Like befriend and just let her walk.
Yeah, it's great. It's like building this like long-term relationship. Go
Yeah.
back and journey with her again, you know? So let her walk beside
Amazing.
you. It is so good.
So
Love it.
So beautiful. Okay, so I know everyone's going to want to work with you now after that. So let our listeners know where they can find you, what things are coming up that you're doing, if they want to be a part of this magical transformational work.
I know we said that, so I'm just going to kind of spiel out the things that are coming up, but I have a nature series right now going on where I combine yoga and shamanism, and then of course like connecting with nature. So that's happening at Harvest Preserve. I have 4 of those left. One is Spirit of the Stars, one is Spirit of the Sun, Spirit of the Buck Moon, and then Spirit of the Stones. So those are found throughout the summer yet here in Iowa City. I'm also going to be at Harmony Fest in a couple of weeks, but that might have been passed by the time we get to this. But in that, I'm doing actually a shape-shifting and sound healing ceremony with Natalie Brown. And so Natalie is actually who I will be offering the 18-month practitioner training with. And so in order to do that training, there is an introduction course. So we've sold out of the first 2 this summer, but there's another one that has 5 spots left in Dubuque, and it's an overnight immersion at the Four Mounds Estate. So fun. Like, I love the night energy for shamanic work. It's just, it's like another feeling, another place to step through, another threshold, right? So that is available. And then that 18-month practitioner course comes up in January.
Okay.
So I do have one-on-one sessions, but my wait list is a bit long. But please, don't hesitate to reach out. I just can't promise you that you would get in before, 6 months to a year sometimes. It just kind of depends on your availability and what I have going on. So there is that one-on-one work. And then I have just other courses coming up. So I'm working on something with Natalie called Seasonal Soul. So it's really connecting with the rhythms, the wheel of the year, specifically in the Celtic tradition. Then we're going to weave in some other traditions as well. And so we're going to be doing that over the course of this next year, and that'll start on Samhain, so Halloween. So we'll be doing that throughout the year, and that's something that you can do online or in person. And then I'll also be working with Jeet Saini, who's just one of my faves.
We love Jeet too.
But we're going to be teaching a goddess course over the next year together over 13 moon cycles and the 13 goddesses in the Awakening Shakti book. So if you have any connection to that book, it's so good. It's so alive, right? So some annual things coming up too. If you wanted to study, maybe just weren't ready to necessarily jump right into a full shaman course, but you wanted to have some flavor of that, there will be shamanic practices that I interweave into all of those things. And so, but I would like to say though too, like with the practitioner training, it's not just if you want to go out and be a shaman. It is so much
healing work.
Healing
so
for you.
much about self-healing. And like you can see just in that little journey, right? There's just like emotional things that come up. And so to be really dedicated to that kind of practice for 18 months, and again, just like connecting with nature, it is really evolutionary.
Yeah,
beautiful. It really is. So
what's your website where they can find all this?
It is inspiritheals.com. So inspiritheals.com.
Great.
So,
yeah. So we always ask a question from the book Women Who Run with the Wolves.
Oh, okay.
And that is, Clarissa says there are 4 doors into your life as a wild woman. So what door do you think most resonates with you in how you have stepped out of the box, moved into this more natural essence that you have? So if you have an deep scar, that is a door. If you have an old story, that is a door. If you love the sky and the water so much you can almost not bear it, that is a door. And if you yearn for a deeper life, a full life, a sane life, that is a door.
Oh, I mean, I feel like I felt most lit up by door 3. That one brought a smile
I
to my
saw your face.
Yeah, I was like, I don't exactly know why, but that's the one I'm
The earth and the sky, nature.
Yeah,
Scotland.
Like the sky. It's the openness. It's the vastness. It's like what we get to explore in this life, but also, what we get to explore in other realms.
Yeah.
That's available to us. amazing stuff. So
Thank you for sharing your brilliance and helping us think beyond, the everyday, that there is more there.
It's a lot more there.
That's my joy and my pleasure. So thank you so much for letting me share it, because it really is, my purpose.
We can feel that.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review. Come back and rewild with us again next week.